So with Tekken 8 on the horizon, just releasing a few days from this recording, I figured it might be fun to go around and give my opinion on all the Tekken 7 characters, because why not? It's not exactly a ranking video or something, just my personal opinion on each character. And yeah, let's get it going. Oh, also I should point out this is on not my main account that I usually play this game on, so everybody's gonna have like beginner on them, and it makes it look like I didn't play this game at all. But I've actually played a lot of this game. It doesn't look like I do because I'm using a different account. But anyway, let's get going here. So I'm just gonna go from top to bottom, and we're gonna start with Kunimitsu. Kunimitsu was a downloadable character. In fact, all this top row are downloadable characters. And I'll admit I haven't played as much of the DLC characters as I have with the main roster, because by the time all the DLC came out, I was done with this game basically. I moved on to other things. So I didn't have a ton of time to play with a lot of the DLC characters, but I will say that Kunimitsu is pretty fun. She's got a lot of tricky moves and stuff like that, and while she doesn't have like a huge role in the story or anything, she's still fun to play. So, it's not bad. I kind of wish I put more time into her a little bit, because she is kind of fun. And I usually like ninja-like characters. But I think she's pretty fine. I like her design, and she's decently fun. That's all I can say about her. Pretty good. So Ganryu, this is one of the most forgetful Tekken characters out there. Like, I always forget this guy exists. And since he was a DLC character, I was like, were people actually clamoring for him? Like, was there a demand for him? I guess so. Why else would he be a DLC character? So I've never really played him at all. When I think of sumo characters in fighting games, I think of E Honda. So I just always forget this guy exists. So I feel like sumo wrestlers in games, fighting games, usually are pretty similar to each other, and they don't stand out very well. So I always forget that they exist, which is kind of a shame, because I think maybe they could do more with them. I don't know. So yeah, I find him to be very forgetful. Moving on. Zafina, one of those characters that I always wanted to try to get good with, but she's just too complicated for me. Characters that require a ton of practice to get really good at, I usually don't gravitate towards, because I don't play these games competitively, and I care more about having fun than anything, and complicated characters like this just aren't fun for me. But, I see her used in competitive a lot, so she's obviously pretty good once you get her down. But she's just not for me. I think her design's pretty decent. Just one of those characters that I wish wasn't so complicated, because I would like to give her a try, but oh well. Not bad, though. Julia. So another character I don't play very much, but I know she gets used in competitive quite a bit. But she's fine. I mean, I kind of like her new look, kind of being like an influencer kind of thing. It's fine. Like I said, being a DLC character, I didn't really use her that much, and she's just one of those characters that I never really felt like I had no desire to get good with her, really. So she's just okay, I guess. Craig Marduk. I actually played Craig Marduk a bit in Tekken 6, because I thought he was kind of a fun, kind of bully-like character that puts on pressure to the opponent and is a hyper-aggressive kind of style with these, powerful moves and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty fun, but I haven't really used him that much in this game, unfortunately. I don't know if he's as fun as he was back in the day. It's funny too, and I'll save that. I'll save what I was going to say for later. But I think he's a decent design for a game like Tekken. He's got a beard in this one. That's kind of nice, and he's just a big hulking guy. So nice design, but not a character I really played too much in this game. But he was fun in Tekken 6. I will say that. Okay, so Anna. So I always found it kind of funny that Anna's a DLC character. She's one of those characters that's really popular, and I'm always amazed that doesn't make it into the main roster. I'm pretty sure she's not in Tekken 8, too, and as part of the main roster. She's just like a DLC character for life, probably, which is weird. Actually, no, it's not weird, because they like to hold back popular characters, kind of like Street Fighter 6 is doing with Akuma. That seems like a character that should be in the main roster, but no, they got to sell season passes, so they got to put someone enticing in the DLC. Anna's a character I tried a little bit in Tekken 6, but she didn't click with me that much, so I haven't played her since. And never really before either. Tekken 6 is when I was really experimenting with characters, because Tekken 6 was the first Tekken game I really, really got into, even though I played a lot of Tekken games before 6. Tekken 6 was during my big fighting game like craze after playing Street Fighter 4. I wanted to play every fighting game out there, and so I played a lot of Tekken 6, you know. But so I tried pretty much every character in Tekken 6 just to see who would click with me. Anna was not one of them, unfortunately. But, you know, she's fine. She's a fan favorite, so a lot of people seem to really like her, and that's fine. I think she's just fine. Geese Howard. I don't play King of Fighters or Fatal Fury, as a lot of people point out. Every time I talk about Geese, I talk about King of Fighters, they're like, oh, he's not from King of Fighters, he's from Fatal Fury. It's like, dude, it's the same thing. Come on, guys. Anyway. Geese, obviously he plays different than everybody else, but not a kind of character that I would play as. I know he's good and competitive, but he's just not one of those characters I like playing in these kind of games. I know it says it's locked right here, but he's actually unlocked and on my PS4. I'm playing on PS5, by the way. Yes, I bought this game twice. It was on sale, and it was like the complete edition, although not technically complete edition because the third-party characters are not here, as you can see. So that was weird. I don't know why they call it the complete edition, but whatever. But I did have him unlocked in my other copy, and I wasn't really a big fan of him. But whatever. He's Geese. You know, a lot of people who like Fatal Fury and King of Fighters like him. You know, it's nice that we got a little crossover. It was nice. Eliza, is she even canon? Like, she has nothing to do with the story, and it seems like the game, I feel like the writing and how she's presented makes it feel like she's not canon. A lot of people say she was just created for the hypothetical Tekken Cross Street Fighter game because of her moves are all Street Fighter like related. She has, you know, quarter circle forward, Shoryuken motions for her uppercut and stuff like that. So she was just like a testing ground for the hypothetical Tekken Cross Street Fighter, and I would believe that. And not just because we have Akuma in here, but I like Eliza's design. You know, kind of a gothic vampire chick. Who doesn't like that? But she's not in Tekken 8, and I don't know if she'll ever come back, because if she was just a test character for the hypothetical Tekken Cross Street Fighter, there's no point for her to exist, and that's probably why she's basically presented as non-canon. But yeah, at least her design is nice, even if I don't like her gameplay because it's more Street Fighter-esque. Noctis. I played Noctis a bit when on my other copy of this game, and he was actually pretty fun. I never played the Final Fantasy game he was from, so you know, there's no like connection there. But I just thought he was pretty fun. Can't really say anything else because he's not a Tekken character. So let's move on. Lei, another character who always seems to be DLC these days. I mean, he's not in the main roster of 8, so he probably will come in DLC. He seems like a character who always finds his way in eventually, just much like Anna. But he's another character who has tons of stances and stuff that I can never really get down. I remember playing him a bit in Tekken 6, really trying to get him down, and I kind of got him down a little bit, but not to the point where I was really happy with him, or I could say, like, yeah, I'm good with him. I'm just like, yeah, I can kind of play him a little bit, you know? Because he is kind of fun in that way. Like, those really technical characters like Lei and Zafina, they can be really rewarding when you get them down, but it's just so hard to get to that point. But also, I'm not a fan of his design in this one. I liked his other design where he kind of looked more like, I guess you would say, Jackie Chan. Funny story, Jackie Chan was, I think, going to play Lei in the live-action Tekken movie until that movie's budget got cut and they couldn't afford him anymore. But, so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his design in this one, and I don't play him because I already gave him a try, and I just already know he's too complicated for me. But, you know, he's all right. Armor King. So I never really tried to play Armor King that much. I always found King to be more fun. There's a lot, at least they're not like Echo Fighters. They are very different, even though they're both using wrestling. But Armor King versus King, I've always went with King. I think Armor King has a cooler design, but I didn't find him as fun. But I'm glad that he's sticking around because I think he's a really cool design. And I think King is used way more in competitive too. So I guess he's just the better all-around character. But yeah, all I can say is that while I don't play him, I like his design. That's all I can really say about him. This is one of the weirdest inclusions to a fighting game I've ever seen. Like, when he was announced, I was like, what? Okay, but why though? Like, at this point, The Walking Dead wasn't even that popular anymore. Like, it was winding down in popularity. So it seemed like a really weird timing kind of thing. And I haven't played him that much on my other copy, but you know, like I said, I don't care about The Walking Dead or anything, so he was never going to be a character I gravitated towards. Yeah, I got nothing to say about him. It was just weird. One of those weird third-party ones that just came in and I had no interest in. Leroy Smith. So the only thing I really know about this guy is how broken he was when he first came out, and everyone was calling for his nerf. I don't know if they ever did really nerf him, but he's back in Tekken 8. I'm not sure what his storyline is because he didn't have a story in this one, but he apparently is going to in Tekken 8, so we'll see what that's all about. I haven't had a lot of time to really try him out because, like I said, by the time he came out, I pretty much had dropped this game for the most part. So I never really got to see why he was broken, and even if it doesn't even matter because I'm not competitive, so I probably would have never figured out why he was broken and used him to his full potential, whatever. It's a nice design though, and I like his fighting style. Maybe I'll play with him more in Tekken 8 and we'll see how that goes. I remember when this guy came out, I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce this guy's name because I'm pretty sure YouTube would block me if I tried to because it sounds way too much like another word. But anyway, I really like this guy's design. He's a big, hulking, Sagat-like guy. But I haven't really played him a ton. I played him a little bit, and I kind of like him, but he has no story behind him, really, because he was a DLC character, and he's not in the base roster of Tekken 8, so who knows if he'll come back. I just don't got much to say about this guy, except that I really like his design. Lydia, the last character to be added to this game, if I'm not mistaken. So really got really late to the game, and I haven't really tried her out that much. I found her to be a little bit complicated because of the different stances she has and everything. But it's an interesting little fighting style. But again, no story to speak of. Her design's fine, I guess. But being, again, a DLC character, not much to say, really. I don't know if she's ever going to come back either. Who knows? Okay, Master Raven. So Raven's back in Tekken 8. Makes me wonder what the point of Master Raven was. This is just one of those characters where it's like, okay, is it going to be a one-off thing? Because it's just Raven's moveset, pretty much, except with a few more bells and whistles, because they have to upgrade everyone's moveset when the new game comes out. So it's just female Raven, you know? It's a nice design. It's fine. It's a lot like Raven, except if it was female. Raven was a character who, again, I really liked using in Tekken 6, because I like ninja characters, like I said, kind of like with Kunimitsu. Never got too great with him, but I found him to be pretty fun. Maybe I'll try him more in Tekken 8. We'll see. Nina Williams. So, a legacy character who's been there pretty much since the beginning. Very popular. Even got her own game, which nobody talks about because it was terrible. But another character, though, that I never really played that much. Played her a little bit in Tekken 6, but never clicked with me too much like Ana. I think I preferred Ana over Nina, though, a little bit, just very slightly. But, you know, she's an iconic character, pretty much. I wonder, when it comes to female characters in the Tekken series, would Nina be the equivalent of Chun-Li, like the most iconic? I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. But yeah, she's fine. Yoshimitsu's always fun, because he has a new look every game, and he's also in Soul Calibur and stuff, so it's like a little bit of a connection between the Namco Bandai games and stuff. But never a character I use that much, unfortunately. Even though he's kind of like a ninja-like character, I prefer Kunimitsu and Raven / Master Raven in terms of ninja characters. But he's the only character that uses a weapon. You know, he's got a sword. So, well, I guess Kunimitsu technically has that kunai, but whatever. So it makes him a very unique character, but usually not a character that I would play that much. I actually prefer to play him in Soul Calibur in a more weapon-based, game. But, it's always fun to see him around. He's a legacy character, and now that Soul Calibur is pretty much dead in the water, nice to see him sticking around at least. Okay, Dragunov. This character baffles me in a lot of ways. Like, he's really good and competitive. Doesn't seem to have much to do with the story, and he's a very boring character because he doesn't really talk and has no personality. But I think the only reason he sticks around is because he's used by so many people in competitive. So, yeah, don't really have much to say about this guy because there's not much to him. Does he really have anything to do with the story? I honestly don't remember. Yeah, I got nothing to say on this guy, really. Horong. So Horong's interesting because he's one of the few people who have canonically beaten Jin. He's never beat Devil Jin. Like, one of the stories was he beat Jin, but then Jin turned to Devil Jin and beat Horong. But I'm like, the fact that he beat Jin, who's on the same level as Kazuya and Heihachi, it's like, that's impressive. He's like canonically one of the stronger characters in this universe. So we'll see what he does. His design in this one, the whole eye patch and the dyeing his hair black, I guess, not my favorite look. I prefer his other look. Let me see. Yeah, I like this look, was pretty good. And does he have his, that one. That one, classic Horong. I like that look a lot. So yeah, it's nice to see he's not he got his eye back in Tekken 8. This look was not the best for him. I didn't even know it was Halrong at first. I thought it was a completely new character. And Halrong, in terms of playing him, I actually did play him a lot in this game back in the day because I wanted to get good with him. I always wanted to get good with him. And since Beck is not in this game, who I felt was a more simple version of Halrong and a lot more easier to play, so I just played him in Tekken 6 and stuff. I couldn't do that in this one because Beck isn't in this game and he's not in Tekken 8 as of right now. So I'm like, okay, I'll try to get good with Halrong. And I managed to get to the point where I'd say I was decent with him, but not, again, to the point where I was confident in saying I'm really good with this character, like some other characters, because he's kind of complicated. But I did have fun with him during that small time playing him. So yeah, I like Halrong a lot. I hope I can use him a bit more in Tekken 8. Maybe he's a bit more simpler to use, or maybe he's not. I don't know. Law. So this is a character who, fan favorite because he's always pretty funny. And I've played him, I think, I don't know if I played him more in Tekken 6 or Tekken Tag Tournament 2. But I played him in both those games a little bit because he is pretty fun to use. I'm not amazing with him or anything, but I feel like he's a good balance of, pretty easy to use but hard to master kind of characters. Like if you really want to bring out his full potential, you got to stick with them, even though a lot of his moves are easy to execute and all that stuff. But so yeah, I found him to be pretty fun. Okay, Shaheen. So the funny thing is, a lot of people are talking about this guy. It's like, why is he in Tekken 8 but not Miguel? Because he has like the same storyline. Like he's going after Kazuya because he killed his friend, and Miguel is going after Jin because he killed his sister. But you can't mention that because Jin's the good guy now. But anyway, I didn't play Shaheen that much. I know he's used by a lot of people in competitive. I think that's why he got in Tekken 8, because again, he seems to have nothing to do with the story very much. I feel like that whole Kazuya killing his friend thing was introduced in Tekken 8. I'm not sure because he's not in the story in this one very much. So yeah, I didn't know what this guy's story was. So yeah, he's one of those new characters that I think I tried out a little bit when the game first came out, but he wasn't clicking for me, and I just had so many other characters I wanted to try that I just kind of forgot about him. So maybe I'll be able to pick him up in Tekken 8 a bit more and see what he can do. Maybe see why he was so good and competitive. I don't know. Okay, so Kuma's not a Tekken character, so we're going to move on. Okay, Kazuya Mishima. So Kazuya is interesting because it's like, what other fighting game franchise do you out there? You have the main character that's just a bad guy. Like, he's not Ryu, he's not Kyo, he's not even Soul Bad Guy. He is just Kazuya Mishima, baby. He's the devil. You can't get any more evil than that. He is literally the devil. And I just find that interesting. He gives no craps. He's going to destroy the world. He's going to obtain absolute power and rule the world. And he's the face of this franchise since the beginning, I've always found him fun to play. He's the main character, so much like Ryu, he's easy to use. I'm not sure if he's great and competitive. I remember when this game first came out, he was used a decent amount. So he's not terrible or anything. And I always found him pretty easy to use. I've used him in pretty much every Tekken game out there. Even Tekken 1, 2, and not 3, because he wasn't in 3. But 4, and every game I've played him. He's never been actually, I think he might have been my main in one of them. I can't remember which. It might have been Tekken Tag 1, where I used him a lot. I don't know. But he's always been a character I like using. And since he was the only character in the Tekken 8 demo that I've really used a lot before, he was basically my main in the demo, if that counts for anything. But yeah, we'll see how the story goes. And we'll see if I stay with Kazuya when Tekken 8 comes out, or I go with somebody else. Because at least with Kazuya, in terms of Tekken 8, he's the character I have the most experience with. But yeah, we'll see. I like Kazuya a lot. He got into Smash, so that was fun too. I guess I played him in Smash just as much as I played him in any other Tekken game. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Heihachi Mishima in potentially his final game. I highly doubt that. But anyway, Heihachi's iconic, and much like Kazuya, he's a character that I've played in every Tekken game that he has been available. Because he is a lot like Kazuya. He has his differences, obviously, but he's, I'd say, on the same level of ease of use, because their moves are kind of similar. But yeah, I like playing him a lot. His design is really good too. It's iconic, like I said. There was this weird point in time, like in Tekken Tag 2, where he was like young Heihachi. That was really weird. I mean, it's non-canon, but it was a interesting thing to do, I guess. But I prefer old man Heihachi. And I believe he was my main in, what was it, Tekken 2 maybe? I don't know. and again, I used him. I used to run the team of Kazuya and Heihachi in Tekken Tag 1 as like my main team. So I guess half credit there. But yeah, he's always been a character, much like Kazuya, that I really like playing. I'm not sure if I like the idea of this game kind of making him like a good guy, like almost sympathetic kind of thing. Like they're trying to pull that at the very end. You know, like, oh, maybe he wasn't such a bad guy and everything. I'm like, no, come on, he's a bastard. You know, come on. Don't take that away from him. He's a bad guy. He's not meant to be sympathetic. But yeah, I really like Heihachi a lot. Kind of sad that he's gone, but I don't think he's gone for good. Okay, Kazumi, introduced in this game as sort of a, I don't know if I want to call her like a Jun replacement, because she really isn't. She was just she was what Jun is to Jin, Kazumi is to Kazuya, basically. It's, you know, the mother, you know, which we had never seen before, which is kind of interesting. And she apparently has this deal with Akuma, which is, yeah, putting Akuma in the whole Mishima storyline, which is so freaking weird. But anyway, I have played her a little bit when the game first came out, because I was like, oh, I wonder what she's going to be like. With all new characters, you want to try them out. And she was kind of hard for me to get a grasp on. Like, I was able to do okay with her, but I wasn't, again, fully satisfied in what I could do with her, never bringing out her full potential and everything. Maybe if I'd stuck with her long enough, but the problem with Tekken is there's so many characters that I drop characters pretty quickly if I don't immediately feel that, you know. I don't know how hard she would be, like, considered in the Tekken community, like how hard she is to use, but I just couldn't bring out her full potential. I do like her design, even if it reminds me a bit too much like Jun, you know, but, well, whatever. Jun's the one coming back, not Kazumi. Because Kazumi is dead, and I don't know if they're ever going to bring her back, except for maybe Tekken Tag 3 or something. I wonder if I'll ever get that. Tekken Tag 3, that would be insane. Okay, moving on. Lucky Chloe, everyone's favorite character. Don't worry, she's not back in Tekken 8, at least not yet. So, like all the new characters, I tried her out a little bit. I actually did use her for quite a little while. I did find her to be a bit fun. I wasn't amazing with her or anything, but I did find her to be pretty fun with her crazy moves. Will she ever come back? I don't know. She seems to be way too hated by the fandom for them to, like, feel comfortable selling her back as DLC. I don't know. I feel like she's one of those characters that may not come back. I don't know. But it seems like nobody stays away forever in Tekken. So maybe we'll see her again one day. And maybe she'll have a amped up moveset. We'll see. All I can say is that I found her to be fun. Lily. Oh, gee, I wonder how I feel about this character. Yeah, as anyone who knows me knows, she is my main in this game. And in every game where she has been available, she has been my main. Even in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, she was one of my mains. She's just a character that clicked for me. I do like her design, though. You know, the rich bitch kind of thing. I've always liked those kind of characters. So, I don't know. I guess she was just always destined to be one of my mains. Can I say anything else? I mean, her storyline is just always, you know, a rivalry with Asuka. I kind of wish they would do more with her, but, you know, she doesn't really have much of a connection to the Mishimas or anything. In Tekken 6, I believe that there's a thing about her father having some kind of business dealing with the Mishima Zaibatsu or something like that. So there was that there, but then that's kind of never been brought up ever since. Again, she's just fighting Asuka all the time. So yeah, wish they would do more with her, but hey, all that really matters is that she sticks around. As long as she's still in the game, I'm happy. Okay, Lars. So I remember when Lars first came out in Tekken 6, a lot of people didn't like him because he's like an anime guy. I'm like, really? You're going to complain about an anime-esque type character in Tekken? Don't we have like a ton of those? I mean, the game's from Japan anyway, so of course you're going to get that kind of stuff. He's not a character I've played a ton of. I played him a bit in Tekken 6, but not a ton. He's just not a character that I gravitated towards. I'm not really sure why. And obviously he was a huge part of the Tekken 6 storyline. Ever since then, I feel like he hasn't really had as much of an impact, but you know, he was the new, like, sort of semi-main character that we were supposed to root for in Tekken 6 because we couldn't root for Jin anymore in Tekken 6, so we had to have a new character to root for, and that was supposed to be Large, but everyone kind of rejected him. So I guess that must have been what happened. That must have been like, oh, this is the new guy that's going to be the protagonist of Tekken, now that Jin is a bad guy, and it's like, oh, wait, everyone hates him? Oh, I guess we can't do that anymore. We got to make Jin good again. I don't know. It's weird. But I guess he's okay. Xiao Yu. So Xiao Yu is one of those characters that I always tried to use because she's been in so many games and I'm always kind of coming back and trying to give her a shot. I used her a lot in Tekken 6, like trying to learn her, and I actually got pretty good with her. But in terms of this game, I haven't used her that much. That run in Tekken 6 was the best run I ever gave her. I've heard she's really good in Tekken 8, though, and she was also apparently really good in this game, but is another one of those complicated characters that I couldn't fully bring out the potential of, and just played around with her a lot in Tekken 6 because I was playing everybody in that game. But, her design is nice, Doesn't have much to do except chase after Jin, but, it is what it is. I think she's a, I'd say she's iconic in terms of Tekken. If Nina's not the Chun-Li of this game, then Xiao Yu is the Chun-Li of this game. Probably one of the more iconic female characters. Jack. So Jack always makes his way, and so it's Jack 7, and next time it's going to be Jack 8. Another character who uses a lot in competitive, but I never used him, really. Even in Tekken 6 when I was playing everybody, Jack was never a character I enjoyed using. I don't know, he just didn't click with me. And, he doesn't have much character. He's a robot, that doesn't really talk or anything like that. So, there's a lot of robots in this franchise, but he's the most boring one in my opinion. So yeah, not much to say about him. But he's one of those characters that will always come back because he's pretty iconic in the Tekken series, and a lot of people use him in competitive. So there you go. Lee's a funny character. I never really used him that much, and I don't know how much he's used in competitive, but he's one of those characters that seems to be very popular with the fan base. Excellent, and all that stuff. All that good meme-worthy stuff. So he's always going to be around. Not to mention he actually is, has a lot of connection with the Mishimas and stuff. So he's always going to be there because he's actually story relevant. But it's just a character I never played as. I should maybe try him one of these days. I don't think I ever gave him a fair chance, even in the previous games. Maybe I should really do that one of these days. Maybe I'll find out I actually really like him. But other than that, yeah, I think he's a funny character. Not fun to play because I don't know, but a funny character, and it's nice to see him, come back because a lot of people like him. Okay, I'm going to knock out Kuma and Panda in the same way because, they're the same character in this game. But I like that Kuma has new moves in Tekken 8. He has some of Heihachi's moves. That's nice to get kind of Heihachi in the game. But yeah, I never really played Kuma or Panda that much. I don't know why. They just didn't gel with me, I guess. But it's kind of funny. Tekken is one of those franchises where it's like, what, a fighting bear? Yeah, why not? It's not quite up to the level of absurdity as a game like Killer Instinct, where you could literally have any kind of character. But as far as Tekken goes, yeah, fighting bears, why not? And I like Kuma's, thing in Tekken 8, where he's basically taking up the mantle of Heihachi kind of thing, trying to avenge his fallen master. That's kind of nice. Gives him something to do, and gave him a new moveset. So that's really nice. Good for you, Kuma. Miguel, the character who has seemingly been forgotten by the Tekken team. Because, again, they can't bring up the fact that Jin killed his sister and wiped out 30% of the population on Earth when he started this whole war in Tekken 6. Which is a shame, I liked Miguel. I actually did play him a bit in both Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2. Because I did like his moveset. I found him to be pretty fun. So it's kind of a shame that the Tekken team has kind of forgotten about him. But yeah, I hope he comes back. And I hope that his story is resolved somehow. Because it would be a shame if it just ends here. Bob, what's this guy's story? I honestly forget. Why is he doing all this? Is he just a guy who likes to fight? I don't know. So I remember in Tekken 6, Bob was the, hands down best character, or at least one of the best. He was, so freaking overpowered. But I never played him too much. I played him a little bit, because I played everybody. But he was another one of those characters that didn't quite click with me. And maybe I should give him another try. But then again, he's not in Tekken 8. So, at least I don't think he is. I honestly can't keep up sometimes, so I don't think he's in Tekken 8. Because I don't think he had much story going on with him. And, I don't know how much he was used in competitive, so, no reason to bring him back there. So, yeah, what was this guy's story? I don't know. As far as big fat guys go, he didn't leave much of an impression on me. I think Rufus from Street Fighter left more of an impression, even if it was a bad impression, It still left an impression, more than Bob did. I remember, Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 6 coming out around the same time, and both of them had these big fat guys, and I'm like, who's copying who now? I don't know. It just seemed to be a thing for a while, that they would put big fat guys in fighting games. So yeah, not much to say about Bob. Just not a character I really use that much. And I don't really care one way or the other if he comes back. Brian Fury. So another character who's used a lot in competitive, but someone I don't use too much. He's another character that just never clicked with me too much. But, he's one of the more iconic characters. He's been there for a long time. Got a, nice design. People love the laugh he does. They love that he's just a crazy guy. So he's always going to be one of those characters that I think will stick around. He's just too iconic in the eyes of the fandom. But like I said, I don't use him that much. But he's fine. It's always nice to see him. King. So King has always been a character that I've liked ever since I first laid eyes on Tekken. Because like, oh, it's a guy in a leopard mask. That's something I don't see very often, you know? And he doesn't talk. He just has like the roars and the growls of a cheetah or leopard, whatever he's supposed to be. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of unique. Is he like a man? Is he some kind of beast man? You know? And he's one of those characters that I always wanted to get good with. But I never could. I'm never much for grappler-like characters. But I did play him a bit in Tekken 6, and I found him to be pretty fun. He's another iconic character that's been there forever, and even though it's not the same King as the original from the first game, it's still King, you know? That's a great thing about having a masked character. You can always have that character keep going. It's just another person donning the mask. See with Armor King, that Armor King up there, he is not the same Armor King from the original, because everyone knows the original Armor King was murdered by Craig Marduk, so that was a nice little storyline they had going. But yeah, I also liked King's thing with Marduk, like he was his enemy for killing his, you know, Armor King, his master or mentor or whatever, and then they became friends, you know, so that was a nice little storyline they had going. But as far as storyline now, yeah, I don't know what he's really doing. He's just kind of looking for a fight, I guess. He just wants to keep on fighting. So yeah, I like King. I like his design, and who knows, maybe I'll pick him up again sometime soon. Steve Fox. I remember when Steve Fox was first revealed, everyone said he looked bad. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, I don't know what people were saying when he said he looked bad in Tekken 8, but whatever. Steve is another one of those characters that I've always wanted to get good with, but his different stances and the ways you have to use him, it's not easy, you know, it's not the easiest thing. I think the game I used him the most in was Tekken 4 when he first debuted. And after that, I didn't really use him at all. But every time a new game comes out, a new Tekken game, I always try to pick him up and see what is he easier. Is he any easier to use? And he never is. He's never any easier to use, unfortunately. So he's not a character I use very much, but you know, I hope one day I'll be able to stick with him long enough to maybe get some way halfway decent. Paul Phoenix. So Paul is another one of those iconic characters that always seems to get in, and he's pretty easy to use. He's got that power punch that's pretty famous, and you can just spam that against the computer. It will usually work. I remember using him a lot in Tekken 4, almost to the point where you could probably maybe call him my main in 4, maybe. But in this game, I didn't use him too much, mainly because he doesn't play any different from all those other incarnations of him, and I was kind of more intrigued of trying new characters rather than going back to older characters who didn't really change that much. But I did play a little bit of Paul in the Tekken 8 demo. He's pretty fun, although he's still kind of the same type of character, but still with the new mechanics and stuff that Tekken 8 introduces, gave him a little bit flair to his game, I guess you could say. So maybe I'll play him a little bit more. He's still fun to play. Like, I'll never take that away from him. He's always been fun. But it's just that this game didn't really give him much new to keep me playing him. Unless he was my main, I wasn't going to like really use him that much, is what I'm saying, I guess. Okay, Josie. So she's not coming back in the next game, which is kind of a shame because I actually did use her a lot. I guess she was like a pocket main for me for a while, with Lily being my main, and then I used Josie a lot because she kind of clicked with me a bit. Because she's kind of like Bruce. I used Bruce Irving quite a bit in previous games, and she was the closest thing to Bruce. So I was like, yeah, I'll use her for a while. Why not? So kind of a shame she's not coming back and Bruce is not coming back, so that kind of sucks. But, you know, maybe one of them will get added as DLC. We'll see. A lot of people seem to want Bruce back, which is weird. I didn't know he was popular. But anyway. So yeah, I find her design to be pretty good. Not a huge fan of the fact she's a bit of a crybaby. I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyway, she was fun to play at least. Her design is good. She was fun to play. I wouldn't mind seeing her back, her or Bruce. I'll take either because they're both fun. Katarina, what was her deal? What was her storyline? I honestly forget what the point of her was because she wasn't in the main story that much, I don't think, if I remember correctly. So it's like, I don't know. What's her story? The whole story in this game was kind of weird. It just, there's so many characters in this franchise, they just can't put everybody in. She's not back in Tekken 8, if I remember correctly, and that's fine. I played her a bit when the game came out just to test her out, and she was all right. She was all right, you know. Didn't love her, didn't hate her. Her design's fine. She's the epitome of fine, basically, in this game. Shin Kazama, I don't know what to think about this guy anymore. Like, I liked him from 3 up until 6. I played him a bit and found him to be really fun in 4 and in Tekken Tag 2 and in 6. But then in 6, they made him like a bad guy. And I'm like, wait, what are they doing? Like, famously, it was a disagreement between Harada and the team of whether or not they wanted him to be a good or bad guy, and they couldn't, like, I guess, compromise. So he's a bad guy now. And I guess, again, maybe to push Lars, they got to push him for SummerSlam, I guess. And then they were like, okay, that's not going to work, so now we got to make Jin the good guy. He's got to be the savior of humanity, even though he's the one who started this whole war and killed so many people. It's so messed up. Like, and so I don't know what to think of Jin. Like, am I supposed to root for him? Am I not supposed to root for him? I can't say that I'm really rooting for him that much, because it's like Kazuya said, to quote Kazuya, what a bunch of bull. You're the one who started this war. I'm glad they at least acknowledge that. Like, they acknowledge that he's not exactly a hero here. So yeah, I don't know. He is fun, though. I do like playing as him. He is a fun character to play as. He's different enough from Kazuya, you know, because ever since Tekken 4, he took up karate instead of the Mishima style. So he got a different style, and I liked him when he was the karate style thing, because in Tekken 3, he was just Kazuya, which was fine with me, because, you know, I played Kazuya, and Kazuya wasn't in that game. But, you know, it's just felt like a copy. But then he got his own style, and it's like, okay, cool. Now he's his own character, and I like the karate style, so that was good. So while I don't know what to think of him as a character, he's at least fun to play, and he's always going to be there, of course, because he's Jin. Devil Jin. So obviously, Devil Jin has always been his own fighting style. And it's kind of like Kazuya, kind of like the Mishima style kind of thing, but with his own flashy devil moves. So he's always been a fun character to play. And it makes me wonder, though, is Tekken 8 going to be Devil Jin's final appearance? Because where I think where they're going with Jin is he's going to finally gain control of the devil gene and, like, not become the devil anymore. Like, he's completely mastered it. Kind of like, I don't think there's ever going to be an evil Ryu anymore, because in Street Fighter 6, Ryu has completely suppressed the Satsui no Hado and is no longer, like, you know, he's gained full control of it, so there's never going to be another evil Ryu, because that's basically non-canon anymore. So is Devil Jin going to be a character anymore after 8? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I feel like Devil Jin is really iconic, though, so it would be kind of a shame to lose him. But, you know, people want the story to progress, so that means some characters got to go. And Devil Jin may be one of them. But we'll see, because I do think Devil Jin is really fun. Claudio. I'm not sure what this guy's deal is either. I know he's been put in the story of this game and the next game quite a bit, but I still don't know what his deal is. I don't know. I don't really care about this guy. His design doesn't say anything to me. It's just like, eh. It reminds me of Lee a little bit, you know, sort of this pretty boy kind of thing going on. Maybe a little self-righteous. I don't know. And I didn't find him to be that fun. You know, just a character I do not care for. Just up and down. Wouldn't shed a tear if he was gone. Gigas, so when I was talking about Craig Marduk earlier, I find it funny that when this guy first came out, everyone thought he was Craig Marduk, because he had like a very similar look and moveset. But no, he's not Craig Marduk, obviously. And he's not in Tekken 8, so who knows if this guy will ever come back. I don't think Marduk's part of it either, man. We don't got any like big guys in the roster. We need more big guy fighters, because we don't got one right now. But yeah, Gigas was a character I tried out a little bit when this game came out, and I was like, well, if he's anything like Craig Marduk, he might be fun. I don't remember anything about my time playing as him, though. I think I liked him a little bit, like he was kind of like Marduk, but again, just, I don't know. The look is kind of interesting, I guess. But yeah, don't got much to say other than that. Okay, Asuka Kazama, obviously easily the most wasted character in this entire franchise. How the heck did they make a Kazama and do nothing with her? Like when she first appeared in Tekken, was it 5? It was Tekken 5. I was interested in her a lot because it's like, okay, she has Jun's moveset, which I played Jun a little bit in Tekken Tag, the first one. So I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Surely they're going to do something with her. She's a Kazama. And they have done nothing with her. And they will continue to do nothing with her because now they introduced Rina, who is now another Mishima, and totally taking the spotlight away from someone like Asuka, who could have potentially finally been something. But no, she's forever in this fight with Lily. And that's just going to be her thing. Oh, I remember a comment. Everyone was asking, like, well, what's she going to do now? And everyone's like, Lily. She's going to do Lily. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Guess that's all she's destined to do. I don't know, there's so much potential they could do with Asuka, and they never do anything. And I do like playing her. I've played her ever since she came out as not a main, but sort of just a character I like using. You know, she's never going to be a main for me, but always a character that I like using. I hope one day they do something with her, but I feel like they had no plans for her. Like, they just needed someone to have Jun's moveset to take over, and just, which is funny because now Jun's back. But now it's like, well, what do we do with her now? They just never, despite being Kazama, just never put in there. It's a shame. Wasted potential. The most wasted potential of any character in this franchise, easily. Okay, Alyssa. Oh, excuse me for a second. My throat's getting really dry. I need a drink. Okay, that's better. All right. So, Alyssa, when she came out in Tekken 6, she was my main for a while, until I picked up Lily. So, and I used to use her and Lily in Tekken Tag 2 as my main team. So she's always been a bit of a pocket main for me. And I did play her a lot in this game too, so she was basically a pocket main for me. So, yeah, I like Alyssa a lot. Her design's a bit much, I'll admit. Like, not the fact that she's a robot, that's fine. But her outfits and all the robot stuff on her and stuff, it's like, I don't know, it's a bit much. I think it's overly designed. It's almost like a Final Fantasy character. But, you know, that's the one thing I think that's stopping me from really loving her, is her over-design. But she'll always be a character that I always use because she's easy for me to use, I'm good with her, and she's, I guess, my secondary main. Okay, Leo. So Leo, I'm trying to think, is there ever a time where I used her? I think I used her in Tekken 6 a little bit, because like then I was using everybody. So I'm like, yeah, I'll use her a little bit, but I don't think I ever got to a point where I was like, I can see myself using this character a lot in the future. And I never played her that much. But she's back in Tekken 8. So as with every character, with all the new mechanics in Tekken 8, I'll probably give her a try. And we'll see, maybe this time something will click. Fang. So Fang, I always kind of considered Fang and Leo kind of similar because they kind of have a similar style, at least in terms of control. They kind of feel similar a little bit, even if it's not the same fighting style. But I always preferred Fang over Leo. And Fang is back in Tekken 8. I forget what this guy's storyline was. I think he was looking for some like scroll or something from the Mishima Zaibatsu or whatever. And now he's working for Kazuya, I think. I don't know. This guy doesn't really talk at all, so I don't really know what his character's supposed to be. But I found him to be decently fun in Tekken 6, which is where I used him the most. And yeah, again, I'll give him a try. He's another one of those characters that I've always kind of wanted to get better with, because I find him to be pretty fun. So we'll see. Eddie Gordo, well, he's been recently announced as the first DLC character. Kind of amazing he's not part of the main roster. Like, honestly, like if you told me who's going to be the first DLC character, I would have not picked Eddie. I would have said he's got to be main roster for sure. But no, he's not. But I guess they needed to entice people with the season pass before the game came out. So Eddie and Christy, you know, because she hasn't been seen in a while, but, you know, they have the same fighting style. I think that's the main reason she hasn't been back, is because they're just the same character. But the capoeira style has always been one that I found very fun. You know, it's very flashy, and I've never really gotten good with it. But it's always one of those types of characters that I wanted to get better with. But it just takes so much time to really, you got to really dedicate yourself to it to really be good with it. And I just didn't have the patience for that. I just wanted to try out so many other characters and stuff. But it's always one of those characters that I always want to try and get good with. And we'll see with Tekken 8 how things go down. But yeah, Eddie's iconic. You know, he's been in the game for a long time. And everybody seems to really like him. And I'm glad he's coming back. So that's the entire Tekken 7 roster. So those are my thoughts. Tell me what your thoughts on the Tekken 7 roster is, and what are your thoughts on the roster for Tekken 8? And that's all I got to say, and I'll see you next time.